Hey everyone, it's Rini from Misfit Fitness coming to you for Vlogmas Day 2. I figured I'd take today to, it's been a long day. I figured I would take the time today to discuss common mistakes I see in people setting New Year's resolutions and why they don't generally stick once they get all gung-ho after January 1st, and then they just sort of, peter off. So I'm going to share with you some common mistakes I see and some general suggestions on how you can get around that. First, make sure your goal isn't too big. Too big is too much. Too long is too much. I highly recommend starting with a small, simply achievable goal. Because what happens is once we achieve that goal, it sets a skip in our step and it sets us up for such incredible success because we have achieved something. And the added bonus to it is it makes us hungry for more because achieving that goal felt so damn good. Now we want more of that. It's like the whole cycle going on there. So I recommend starting small and then achieving that goal and then building onto that foundation. Number 2, making sure you know your why. I can't express the amount of times I've seen people, myself included, we have way too much to drink and suddenly at midnight it seems like a brilliant bloody plan to make a New Year's resolution, but we haven't really considered why we're making that resolution. We haven't considered that. It just sounded like a good idea. Oh, I want to lose weight, or oh, I want to do this, or oh, I want to do that. You need a why. The success rates are much higher when we know our why. It keeps us on the path. So I need you to think about really digging deep on this one, really considering why that goal matters to you. Why is it so important to you that you achieve it? What's the real reason behind it? I mean, I've come across people that, their whys have been something like they're self-conscious about one particular part of their body. Other people have been diagnosed with gut health issues. Other people have been diagnosed with a health condition such as type 2 diabetes, and now they're looking at making the lifestyle changes necessary to try and maintain and control those situations. So take the time, really, really dig deep and peel back those layers and get your why nailed down, because that is what is going to keep you going for the long haul. Number 3, don't be very overly vague when you're planning this goal. Setting a general, non-specific goal, such as I'm going to eat better, without having any precise action steps, it kind of means you're not going to hit your target. What I ask you to consider instead is reframing that into something like, I'm going to eat 2 more servings of vegetables in the day. It's simple, it's easy, it's measurable. And I know we have all talked about SMART principles. So what I'm going to do tomorrow's video will be a deep dive into my way of delivering the SMART principle in my language, and maybe it'll make a little bit more difference. Like we're gonna deep dive into that SMART principle, and we're gonna really nail down the specifics to how to plan a SMART goal. Like what I do find is everybody's like, make sure it's a SMART goal. Make sure it's a SMART goal. Gotta have that SMART goal. Very, very rarely do people ever talk about what the heck that is, other than telling you it's specific and measurable and attainable and realistic and timely. But they don't give you any tools. So I'm going to give you some tools tomorrow to make sure each of those is nailed down. Okay. Number 4, what I find is people don't take the time to plan. Again, it comes down to the whole, it sounds like a good idea at midnight on New Year's Eve kind of principle. Well, I've done it several times. I mean, I'm like almost 50. I've had a lot of New Year's. But I ask you to consider this. You need a roadmap to successfully arrive at your destination. What do you have to get, if anything? What do you already have? Will you need to buy anything? Is there any kind of research that you need to do? Taking the time to plan is a critical part. And we'll do a bit of a deeper dive into some tools in how to plan as well. Just like the SMART principle, it's sort of going to interlink together with sort of a planning topic as well. And my final tip on things you want to avoid is don't fly solo. At the very least, try and have an accountability buddy. I highly recommend an accountability buddy. But I also highly recommend hiring someone or someones to help. Utilizing people who already have the education and the experience and the credentials will save you so much time and money and will get you those results much faster than if you go it alone. Absolutely. Everything you need is available courtesy of Google and YouTube University. But it takes time to research it all. And there is a lot of less than credible information out there floating around in cyberspace. So this is why hiring the professionals is probably the best way to utilize your time and your money to get from where you are now to where you want to go. Because we know what we're doing. We do it day in, day out. It's what we love. Helping people is what we health professionals love doing. It's why we went into this industry. But as I said, at the very, very least, make sure you get an accountability buddy. Get a girlfriend or a male friend. Make sure you've got somebody to chat with. Make sure you've got somebody that, you can go for a walk with. I know everything's a little mental right now with COVID, and that's why I figured it was probably a good idea to go into a resolution sort of planning series over the next few weeks, because we're not going to be through this in 2021. It's going to be a while still, but we do need to make sure that we safeguard ourselves and our health and the health of our families, and make sure that we're living our best lives in all that capacity, right? So there's my 5 tips. So just to review, these are the 5 things you kind of want to try and avoid when you're setting New Year's resolutions. You want to make sure your goal is not too big, or you don't have a huge list. I'm famous for that. I'm like, I gotta make change, and suddenly I got a to-do list. little. Number 2, you really need to make sure you know your why. Out of every point I've talked to you about tonight, that's probably the most important one. Number 3, don't be too vague when planning that goal. Number 4, take the time to plan. Don't decide a week before New Year's you're going to set the resolution. Start planning now. We're going to start planning as we go through this roadmap I'm going to give you guys over the next 24 or 25 days. What day are we on? 22? Okay, 24. Yeah, I'm so sorry, people. It's been a long day. Number 5, don't fly solo. No solo. You've got a huge community out there. I'm sure you've got to be, if you don't come to my community, I have a really fantastic Facebook group that's completely free to be in there, but it's full of wonderful women and great support and resources. And, it's Ms. Fit Fitness. So if you want to come hang out with us in Facebook, we'd love to have you. The only requirement is, and don't be getting down, boys, it's a ladies only group, because we talk about girly things in there. And y'all don't need to be a part of that. And you guys don't really want to be a part of that. I have seen you and your face shift when women bring up girly topics like childbirth and labor and periods and sex, and you guys get all kind of squirmy. So it's all ladies in there. So it's no boys allowed. I'm sorry. We will make another Facebook group for the boys if we need to. But that is all I got for you tonight. Vlogmas day 2. 5 things you need to avoid when you're planning your New Year's resolution. Ciao.